My name's Douglas. I started doing drugs between the ages of 12 and 13. Throughout the course of the drug use, I moved out of my mom's house at 16 because I thought the life I chose and the way I was making money was great, to be honest. We all have these "I'll never do that" moments. I have none of them left because I did them all. My drug use took me to places where most people don't make it out of. The kind of neighborhoods I hung in and ran in, you may see somebody one day, find out they got shot over $20 the next day. I look back and see how God kept me protected through that. You know, throughout my running and trying to live life my way, there's been times where I've been beat and left in a ditch. I've been stabbed, and didn't stop me because I wasn't ready to stop. I went from being a person that was functioning to a person who lived only to seek my next high, my next drug, and did what I had to do to get it. There was times where I would walk through the worst neighborhoods with $10 in my pocket, not caring about my own safety just because I wanted to get that $10 of drugs. Eventually, it cost me my family, my kids, pretty much my whole life, because my whole life ended up being about the drugs. The drugs have become my family, my friend, and everything to me. And you don't think about it because you get so blinded and focused on doing the drugs and getting more drugs that you don't care who you leave in your wake. And I left a lot of people in my wake at times. And I didn't worry about consequences. There's so many times I could list that I should be dead and I shouldn't be sitting here. It's only by God's grace and mercy and His protection, because I could never got myself out of the situations as I look back and see the situations I was in. I eventually ended up homeless. And when I say homeless, I don't mean I could crash at a friend's house or I could go to a motel. I mean, I was at the point of homelessness where I slept in woods, abandoned cars. I've worked stripped cars for drug dealers, which it was part of that world I was in. And when I got to the point where I was actually sitting in the woods and I realized I'm 40 years old, I'm in my 40s, and I'm done. And after 30 years of me running life the way I wanted to run it and doing the things I wanted to do, I was so broken that I knew the only person I haven't asked for help and went to was God. And I was sitting in the woods and I asked God to help me because I didn't want to die like I was dying or live like I was living. I would say it's crazy, but I look at it, it was God. I take no credit for what God has done because I'm so undeserving of even being alive on this earth. I don't deserve His grace and mercy because I had my back turned on Him for so many years. But yet, just like the prodigal son story in the Bible, I turned around and looked up and asked for Him, and He was sitting there. It was like He had His arms open telling me, "Come home, son." You know, and over 2000, it was in September 2006 when I asked God to help me. It's like somebody told me, "You got a job interview Well, my response to that was, the people I work for don't take applications. And to this day, I can't tell you how the application got put in. I actually got hired on a job. I was finding myself doing less of what I wanted in the motel room and having conversations with God. And it got to the point where that was my thing. I would ask and talk to God about everything. One of the things about where I was placed at the motel to go to my job, I had to walk past this one road, and I tell everybody who was listening that I fought with God for 2 months about going down that road. I fought with it because I just fought with him, and I finally went down that little road between the motel and my job where I was at, and there was a little church, Northwest Baptist, and I walked in that church and started realizing God was working in my life. And after being there for a very short while, I felt where God has placed me. And I went in that church, and I tell everybody I felt God open the doors of hell and push everything out of my body and push it back and shut the doors. And I was rebaptized February 18th, 2007. I'm not going to tell you everything's been peachy keen since I accepted Christ. I still have struggles. We all have struggles. But the difference between now and then, I don't find it in a drug. I don't find it in a bottle. I find it in the Bible. I go to God with my problem. I went from motel to a trailer in a junkyard to a trailer on some property. 2013, I ended up buying my first house. I say I bought it, but God allowed me to have it. It's a better way to put it because I didn't earn it. God allowed me to have it. One of my other blessings was in 2011, I got a phone call from my child's mama, and she asked if my daughter wanted to have a relationship with me. Last time I seen my daughter, she was 9 months old. She's now 24. And I was, yeah, well, not only did my daughter want to have a relationship with me, I have a grandbaby who I love them both very much. God also reunited me with my youngest child because of my lifestyle, my bad choices I lost. God's blessings on your life can change so much. I don't care what you may think you've done or how bad you think you've done something. If you're willing to die to yourself and your wants and give it to God, He will bless your life. God has put a godly woman in my life now who I love with all my heart, who we both go to church here, and we both love the Lord, and we both put Him first above us and above anybody else. We're living the way God wants us to live, at least the best that we can.